You're listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Bill McIntyre, and it's time for this week's Long Island News, the show that talks to newsmakers and other important people from Nassau and Suffolk County that matter to Long Island and Long Islanders like you. So each week we'll have a conversation about issues that affect all of us. I live on Long Island just like you, and I want to know more about where my tax dollars are going, and I want to know more about the people making the big decisions that affect all of us. This week, I'm super excited to welcome to our show for the first time Miss Elisa DiStefano. And you probably know Elisa from her work over the past 18 years with News 12 Long Island. But now she's joined the brand new team at Newsday TV as their senior lifestyle host. So Elisa, welcome to this week's Long Island News.
It is my honor and pleasure. You have the best voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have a face for radio, though.
No.
People are going to be shocked that I got to interview you. Everybody knows you. Everybody.
Oh, that is so kind of you to say.
Oh, everybody.
I'm old news.
No, everybody knows you. And it is quite a career you've had with News 12. What gave you made the decision for you to switch over and start a new thing?
You know, I got a call, and it was really an offer I couldn't refuse, to be honest with you. It allowed me something that I hadn't ever had before, and that's flexibility and sleep.
Yeah.
And, you know, I loved what I was doing at News 12, and I love the people there, and that was my home, and I'm so grateful for such a great run there. But the thought of trying something a little bit different and having more time with my family was something at this point I had to give it a go.
Yeah. Well, I don't think people realize what kind of a schedule that you have when you're regularly on a news show that airs on TV.
I mean, it's funny because I am honored to have been given the opportunity to launch Newsday TV. So I've been back on mornings for the last month. Temporarily.
Right.
They have a wonderful anchor that they hired who will start shortly, but I forgot what it was like to feel tired like this all the time. I forgot what it was like to leave my house in the middle of the night.
Right.
And, you know, I got up and did it every day for so long because I just loved so much what I was doing and the people I was doing it with. And they say, you must have been used to it. And I think, I don't think you ever get used to it. I think you just get used to feeling this exhausted all the time. And now that I haven't lived in this exhausted state, you know, it's really, I realize just how difficult, how challenging it is, you know, and what an impact it has, my exhaustion on my family. So I am looking forward to going back to reporting on lifestyle and entertainment and features, and being there with my kids in the morning, going back to drop off duty, which is also challenging in and of itself, but a different kind of a challenge.
Well, you know, I've thought too that so many people, I mean, you've been, you know, in the public eye for 18 years. When you go out to dinner with your family, do you get interrupted all the time? People saying hello, wanting your autograph, that kind of thing?
I wish I could say I went out to dinner with my family a lot.
Well, there you go.
We own two restaurants where we live in Point Lookout. So we're pretty much always there. And my kids are definitely the most recognizable people in that atmosphere. Those are the people that run the show there. So everybody wants to talk to them, and my husband, not really me. But, you know, I was at Adventureland yesterday, and I got stopped by a few people. And it was really nice because I think, you know, it's a testament to being out in the community for so many years and for giving so much of my personal time and myself to try to be more of a part of this community. And so for me, it's a really nice thing. And, you know, I always say I'll take any love I can get.
Well, any thought, because people who run for office would love to be in your position. Name identity, and I mean, you know what I mean? There are people who nobody has ever heard of who run for office, and they have to spend a lot of time and money to get recognized. And you've already got that.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Oh, that's no doubt. So what was your favorite story or stories that you were told? What were some of the things you remembered?
I get asked this question a lot, and I feel like, you know, the answer is like a little bit cheesy, but it's the honest to God truth. You know, having been, on the red carpet at huge entertainment events and having this really unique opportunity to interview, big stars and people who have had so much success. And like that has all been really impactful and really great. But my favorite stories are interviewing and telling the stories of the quote ordinary people doing the extraordinary things. And I found that my most rewarding period in my 17 years at News 12 was actually during COVID, because I was out, with gloves and a mask and out there telling stories that needed to be told.
Right.
And the stories I was telling during that time, I saw the direct impact on the community. We would do the story and all of a sudden, the person who was collecting supplies for the overnight hospital worker would call me the next day and say, boxes and boxes showed up at my doorstep and now we can go and give.
Right.
And for me, like that was like, wow, this is why I do this job. And how lucky am I that I have a platform that can impact people in my own community, my own friends, my own neighbors.
Yeah.
And that time for me, as scary and as terrible as it was, I feel that I did my most impactful work then.
Right. Well, and the community can be happy that you used your superpowers for good.
I always try to.
I guess, of course, everyone wants to know the celebrities that you've interviewed. And, was there any standout interview of someone you liked to interview?
I think the most fascinating is Billy Joel, because
okay.
It's Billy Joel, right? He sells out the garden. He's Billy Joel. Everybody knows Billy Joel, but Billy Joel is the most regular, humble guy when you interview him. And he's so authentic and he's so real. And I love interviewing him because I feel like it gives me an opportunity to show that side of him. So he is always a good one. And I've traveled to DC to be there when he's, had these national honors. So that has been, something that I will always cherish. I've had so many great celebrity interviews over the years. I always say I love George Clooney. He makes you feel like you're the only reporter in the room.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Well, I was thinking, maybe you can get Billy Joel to call us. I met him. It's got to be 50 years ago, at least. And when he was playing with the Hassles.
Wow.
I saw them in Hicksville, and I got to talk to him for a little while, and that's the last time I really saw him that close. It's an interesting memory to think about that. But
I met him at Whole Foods, Bill.
Oh, really?
I was in Whole Foods. I just started at News 12, and I remember I was going to the gym, and I showed up, like normal, no makeup, sweats, and I go to the Whole Foods, the one in Jericho by the Marshalls, right on 106, 107, and I wanted to get nuts. They have these nut dispensers, or at least they did then.
Right.
And I went over and I'm trying to work it, and I saw this man with this woman. And they had just done it. And I tried to do it. I couldn't do it. So I was like, excuse me, sir. Do you know how to work the nut dispenser? And he's like, no. I'm like, but wait, sir, I just saw you do it. Can you just show me how to do it? And I'm like, God, this guy just not want to talk to me. And so he showed me and he walked away. I was like, oh my gosh, that was Billy Joel. So he was on the fish line with Katie Lee at the time. And I had to get all of my courage to go up, and I really wanted to go apologize because I didn't want him to think I was.
You thought he was the nut guy, right?
Right, or I didn't want him to think I was trying to be cute. I really didn't know who he was, and he was in a hat, and I really wanted to learn how to work the nut machine. And so I went over and I was, excuse me, Mr. Joel, excuse me. My name, he's like, I know you, you're the weather girl. And I'm like, oh.
He knew who you were.
I wasn't the weather girl, but I'll take it.
Right.
And we had a great conversation, and that's how we started, a nice, I'm going to call it a friendship, over the years. And he always, there'd be a line of reporters, from, as I said, Washington, D.C. or out in the Hamptons. And he would always come and talk to me, not because it was me, but because I was the Long Islander there. And,
Kinship.
that tells you who he is, right?
Well, he's Long Island. Then,
Yep.
you know what? You're in that category too. You're Long Island. I mean, you have that a high profile. And like I said,
no one ever says that to me. I'm happy this is radio because I'm blushing. My face is burning hot.
Well, conversely now, have you interviewed any celebrities you'd like to throw under the bus?
Never.
Never.
Everybody's entitled to a bad day. It stinks when the bad day happens to fall on the day that you're interviewing them. But, I always say a little prayer for those people and move on. And it makes you really appreciate the good ones even more.
Just a reminder, you're listening to this week's Long Island News on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Bill McIntyre, and my guest today is Elisa DiStefano, now part of the team at Newsday TV as their senior lifestyle host. That's like, you remember the business, right? And we're a nonprofit radio station, but I still have to remind people.
You do a great job of it.
Oh, I've been doing this for it's quite a while, but I enjoy it. I like you, the same thing. I get to talk to a lot of people that I never would have met otherwise, you included.
I can't believe we've never met. I love Nassau Community College. I've spent time there hosting the gala and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Being there doing different things.
It's a great place. I think it's one of the best kept secrets on Long Island.
Absolutely.
I've seen you on the Newsday TV show, and you were anchoring.
Yes.
So you were getting into the top news stories and that kind of thing. How does that appeal to you? That end of it.
I mean, it does because they're the stories that I care about. And it's funny, being a homeowner and a small business owner and a mom. All of the stories now I feel like impact me more than they ever have.
Right.
And, I feel like I have a responsibility to tell them accurately and in a way people can understand and be interested in. So, I am naturally a positive person. I don't love telling negative stories, and we've had a lot of them lately. But I try to tell them with empathy and with heart. I love being in a studio. It's what I've done for so many years.
It's home. Yeah, right.
It's a different show, obviously. And again, I felt a big responsibility launching Newsday TV, something that they made a huge investment in here at Newsday.
Right.
So that was all really neat. But I think I'm at my best when I'm out in the community telling stories. That's when I think I'm, I'm at my best.
Yeah. Well, we always have that kind of idea that because we do news and we, ask people their opinion on news stories and things, we have to stay up on the news, but we also want to stay sane.
Yeah, and that's it. And I try again, this is going to sound like really woo woo, but I try to kind of put a protective force around myself. And I try to take it in. I pray for the people who are hurting. And then I try to leave it here a little bit because it really can, hearing all that, reading all that, it does impact you, and you want to be informed, right? And you want to know what's going on. But it's tough sometimes, especially lately. There have been a lot of tough stories lately, especially as a mom, hearing all the things that are happening. It's terrifying. It's really, it is. And there's a difference between casually reading it on your phone and dipping in and out of a newscast and having to be in there in the scripts and every story. And I try to read, even though the scripts are short, I try to read more as much as I can and read the full articles, just so that I know what I'm talking about and I have some context and some insight on it. So, I really am consuming a lot of news.
Well, but then you also get a taste for which news outlets and kind of how they lean or how they, you can start to tell just by the way it's written.
Yes. Well,
not,
Yeah, I think that, I find at News 12 and here, I feel really good about the way that they've, told stories. And when I go in, as the second set of eyes, copy editing and sometimes writing, I'm really mindful of that.
Right.
I have family and friends that are on both sides, and
Right.
I try to make sure that we're giving the facts and that we're accurate, and that we tell the story the way the
Yeah.
story should be told.
Yeah.
But it's a hard thing.
Yeah, and it's very important. It really is to, and it is difficult to. See, down here I'm on a college radio station, so and kudos to the college. No one here has ever told me that I can't say this or you shouldn't have said that, or I never in that amount of time, which I think is pretty cool.
It is.
Because, we've had some lively discussions on this. I interviewed George Santos on the show, and
When?
before,
Okay.
yeah. And it was funny because we kind of went at it a little bit, and the description on it was Bill has a spirited conversation with
I
George.
love a spirited conversation.
I said, "Oh, okay, that's." So I'm looking up at my monitor, and I'm just surprised I keep seeing you. That's
Me, and then if I know people can't see, but there's me behind me too. It's so weird, Bill. I'm not used to this because we didn't really have this at News 12. There are huge screens here at Newsday, like big screens. So everywhere I look, like there's me. And so it's really,
right. Yeah, right.
like, I'm sitting there talking to people, like my new colleagues, and I'm like, well, there's me. So forget it. Every stray hair, every wrinkle is on display in all of Newsday in high def in these humongous monitors.
Right.
I can't, any place I go, there's a monitor behind me.
Yeah, it was very deceiving. I was interviewed at News 12 once for a band I was in. And
you're a talented Bill.
I'm
multi-talented.
I'm all over the place. And it was deceiving because the desk was really small, but the way they used the two cameras made it look big.
Yes.
And when we got in there, wow, it was interesting to see. Very
Magic of television, we call it.
Yeah. Well, so when do you get your mornings back?
To be determined, but sooner rather than later, I think.
Right.
They closed the bridge over the Loop Parkway April 24th overnight, so I'm hoping for that.
Oh, wow. That's funny. That's funny. Well, listen, if you ever need a voiceover guy, I'll come in and
you'd be great.
Intro your show.
You would be fantastic.
I'd love it. I've been doing this as a community volunteer for, again, it's got to be, I lost count. Well, do you still talk to your coworkers there?
Carol, Elizabeth, Rich, and I, and Erin also were together for 15 years.
I know.
That's unheard. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
In television.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was, such a gift to me, and such really a gift to Long Island too, because they knew that they could count on us, right? It took so many years of building trust and us.
Exactly. You became a part of everybody's family.
We are a family. I was the first week I did this show when we launched. I had a full schedule of a week because I planned it sooner than I knew that I was going to be the one doing the morning show. Right. So I had commitments. I was hosting events and things that I was on the invitation for. I couldn't let people down. So I was doing the morning show, and then I was out almost every night that week. So by Friday, I was exhausted. And on my way home, I called Carol really just to stay awake because I know she always answers my call. And she's like, you have to go home and nap. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. How I'm going to stay awake for the kids. I don't know how I'm going to nap. So I went home and I took a nap, and I woke up 3 hours later, and Carol had come to my house and was watching my kids for me and let me sleep for 3 hours. So
wow. Yeah.
That's that's family. The next weekend, Elizabeth came. She knew I didn't have time to go and get all the Easter stuff I needed. And she came and dropped off Easter baskets and all stuff, from my kids. So, what you saw there for those 15 years, that was real. And it still is.
Yeah.
And it still is.
Yeah.
You just don't see it anymore on TV.
Yeah. Well, where can the listening audience find Newsday TV?
So it's really easy to find, actually. We have a Newsday app. which I've been using since before I worked here. It's actually a really great app. It's really easy to navigate, and there's always, whether it's news you want or if it's really cool restaurants or feature stories, all of my segments are on there. And so is Newsday TV. You'll see it.
Okay.
Sign up for a push alert, which are really good to have anyway. So whenever there's breaking news, or, you could pick the categories you want. But if you sign up for an alert, when our show goes live at 7:00 in the morning for me, and 11:00, it goes up live, you'll get a push alert, and then you just hit the link and you could watch it. Or you could go to newsday.com, and it's right there on the homepage every day, the latest show. And you can stream it on your TV, just like you have Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever apps you have on your television. So you could, my parents, which I think I've never been so impressed by my parents that they figured out how to do this on their own. They got it on their TV, and they wake up now every morning and they hit the Newsday icon and they watch the show. And it's a really neat show. And I think I give a lot of credit to Pat, because he was a forward thinker. He started News 12 Long Island, right, with the Dolans before local news was a thing. And I think he's always been ahead of his time. And I think he's right on. And I hope that the audience will kind of catch up with that. This is how people are consuming news. They want it at their fingertips. You hit that Newsday icon and you get 3 minutes of headlines. They're short. They're to the point.
Right.
You find out everything you need to know in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You get a quick weather, and then you get the back end stories, we call it. And those are the investigations. And those are the features that I do. And those are the Feed Me TV stories.
Right.
And that's in the second half. So if you stick around to watch, that's great. You get a kind of a little bit of entertainment in there. But I think it's a really great way. I mean, I watch it every night too. I get the alert, I hit it, and I just see what the headlines are for the night while my kids are doing things, and I get it in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I really think it's a really cool concept. We have a state-of-the-art studio here. We have some of the best producers I know are here, and they are producing, I think really insightful, informative newscasts that their stories Long Islanders want to hear.
Right.
They're things that are important to us. It's our health, our wealth, right? Our kids.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud. I'm really proud of what we've done here, and what we hopefully will continue to do. And I hope people will give it a chance and check it out. I think that, if you wake up and you turn on your TV in the morning and that's how you consume news, like, awesome. But if you want to check when you're on the train, or you want to check when you get to work, or, you're on the go and you just want something, quick, I mean, I think it's another great option.
Yeah. I like the idea of, the major news stories in like 3 minutes. Because
and it's all local. Like, we'll do a national story, if it has a local impact, but it's just local headlines. So not that we don't care about our neighbors in New Jersey and Connecticut, but it's just what's happening right here.
Right. That you could
there
possibly
are no commercials.
That you could possibly do something about.
Yeah, and it's hard for me because I like to talk and ad lib, and there's no time for that in this show. It's very fast.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'll sometimes write in my prompter notes, don't talk. Because I'm like, don't comment. Go to the next story. Don't slow down the train here. Keep it going.
Right. That's funny. Yeah. I've always thought that's why they give me things to read. So, that's wild. Well, we have a couple of minutes left. Anything you want to just tell a listening audience in general?
I guess that I'm just so appreciative and so grateful, the way people have supported me, especially, making this change wasn't an easy decision for me. No. And I so appreciate, all of the love that I've gotten, and that so many people have kind of followed along my journey and have clicked that link and have sent me kind notes on social media, and, have made me feel really good about the place that I'm at in life. And, we're really lucky, I feel like, to live in a community of so many people who are so involved and care so much about where they live. And I don't take that for granted. So I guess I just want to say thank you.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe you could do a feature story on us right here at the community college.
Yes.
I have a real interesting band story. I play in my daughter's rock and roll band. I'm the drummer for.
Now that is a cool story.
My daughter and my son-in-law is the bass player.
What band?
It's called Bad Mary.
Ooh, how come I don't know that?
Well, we're getting
all
up
these
there.
things today,
You
Bill.
can go to YouTube.
I thought I knew about everybody on Long Island.
Oh,
Look at
this is wild. Well, we're on our way to Japan, actually, for the second time. We did a tour over there for, I guess it was 14 days before the pandemic. And then the pandemic stopped us from going again. But we're coming up in June, we're going to go do it again.
So you want to come down to the restaurant, have a burger with me sometime?
Sure.
Yeah.
What's the restaurant?
We have two. The Point.
The Point.
Bar and Grill. We were closed for 26 months during COVID.
Oh.
I know. And we ended up gutting and totally rebuilding the inside. And this is our second season. I feel like this is like our second go at it. So
Wow.
we have that restaurant. We also have Mona Lisa. My husband's name is Mo.
Okay.
And obviously I'm Elisa. Get it? Mona Lisa.
Great.
And that's Italian.
Wow.
So
Very
come for
good.
Pizza or burger, your choice.
Oh, well, I got to try them both now. I mean, that just goes without saying. We could go on. I could keep asking you questions. I could go back and forth all day, but we'll do that at dinner sometime. That sounds like great idea. But my guest today has been Elisa DiStefano, Newsday TV's senior lifestyle host. So you got me flustered. Look at that.
Listen, that title, I forget I make up a different one every time.
Oh,
I've called my correspondent, host, reporter. I'm not sure, but
well, you got all the hats.
Sounds good when you say it. I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
But and we really want to thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you for wanting to talk to me.
You're busy. Oh, well, and I got to promise that you'll come back too.
Oh, anytime. You let me know.
Okay. That'll be great.
This is a joy.
We need your input. I think the community needs your input. It's positive. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
The clock on the wall says it's time for this week's Long Island News. To move on out of here, I'm Bill McIntyre. Remember, you can catch us or you can listen to us just by searching for this week's Long Island News wherever you listen to podcasts. And we are right here every Friday at 3 p.m. right on the radio at the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.